welcome back, guys. I am the special guest to this channel, Bebop, Bebop Gastelum, or for short, B. So we're starting chapter 3, and I am super intrigued. Let's find out what's going on. We follow Marcus into what I could only describe as a control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back on from having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data to what is obviously a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of the Operations Center in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some pertinent bit of information. Where's that first aid kit? I snap at him. Or, if I'm gonna snap at him, where's the first aid kit? Marcus stops in his tracks, as if he has forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. Oh yeah, he says, rushing to the left side of the room. There he hunkers down by an open panel in the wall, what I assume is the emergency vault from where he got the rifle. I would love to see what's going on into that vault. I peer over Marcus's shoulder into the vault he's opened. It's much larger than it looks from the outside. It's partially filled with file folders marked classified. Ooh, a few rounds of ammo for the rifle, a peculiar plastic kit filled with syringes, and a locked black box. As Marcus digs around, one of the folders slips open. Oh yeah, for the split second that it's open, I see a scanned document and a color photo. The photo shows a male corpse with its guts on the outside of its body, as if it has been turned inside out. There's also massive swelling to his head, almost like his skull is about to explode. Marcus slaps the folder closed, and then I turn my attention to one of the syringes. It's filled with a violet-colored fluid that, while rather pretty in color, looks deadly. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit and turns around. When I look back to motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. Come on, I tell him, but he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. I slide the first aid kit over to him and he goes scrambling to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and arriving in this room, he's faded fast. I struggle to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulders as the dried blood holds in its place. The mere act causes him to grimace. This might hurt a little, I tell Dennis. He only nods. He doesn't seem to care. Ooh. Do I pull it off gently? Or quickly? I guess like a band-aid, right? Shit. Figuring that the old rip off a band-aid metaphor applies here, I tear the shirt off of him quickly. Oh, look at that. Plus, I don't feel like we exactly have a lot of time. Dennis lets out a scream of pain and fury. What the hell, man? Sorry, I say, casting the bloody shirt aside for the moment. Wincing in pain, he leans back against the wall and takes a series of deep breaths. His wound is more visible now, although it's partially hidden by the blood that was started to clot around it. My medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I look over to Marcus hopefully and ask, "You have any training?" "Zero," he says. "Sorry." It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be much of help anyway. I start by taking out the several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe as much blood as I can away from the wound on his side. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark. I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure, but I have no idea how to even start that. Besides, I don't see the tools for it in the kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me and he looks appreciative, but also scared. "Be honest," Dennis says hopefully. "How bad does it look? You think I'll live?" Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm sure most people are, but if he looks pale, I don't want to scare him. I'm crying already. "Good to know," he says, "because I sure don't feel like that." "You've been through hell," I say. "I think it feels worse than it actually looks." "Thanks. That's a relief." "I won't lie, you're going to have a scar," I say, trying to be funny. He chuckles a bit, but there's no humor in it. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finish up. I place one layer of gauze against the wound and bind it with medical tape. I then reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meager, but it's all I can do. Thanks, Roger, he says, actually managing to force out a smile. I feel a lot better. I think I'll be fine. I'm not so sure about that, but I'm glad I was able to encourage him. I look back to Marcus, and he's looking back at us, deep in thought. Are these first aid kits all you have in this facility? I ask him. If there's something better, I don't know about it, he says. I notice then that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something is different now, just a slight change to his demeanor. He's seen something on those monitors that has frightened him, more than he's already was before. What is it, I ask. What's wrong? His eyes travel around the room, and it's obvious that he's trying to decide whether or not to tell me the truth. Oh shit, it's in here, isn't it? I want to look. Picture is worth 1,000 words. Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the screens behind him, seeing if I can find any clues I had missed moments ago. After a few moments, I see a few things that even I can comprehend hidden in the complex information on most of the screens. On one screen, I see what looks like a power meter that is slowly climbing upwards. A single message is flashing beneath it. It reads, "Unexpected power failure, foreign entity." Another message trickling along the bottom of the black screen says, "Safety locks on level 3 containment doors engaged. Override." I see still scenes on a few other screens that I assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from elsewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway we were on just a few minutes ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognize. The floor is covered in blood. From just off the screen, I see what I think might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's legs and torso have somehow merged or melted into the floor. Definitely, I don't care about the systems. What the hell's going on with that person? I have no idea. I didn't see it, he says. Whatever happened to that guy must have happened in the last minute or so. What the hell, I ask. There's something still happening? Are we still in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing he's already said too much. As bad as that is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold, and my fear spike to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site. Holy shit. The equipment is unmistakably mine. I can see my truck. Or I can even see my truck. Something like fury starts to rise up in my guts, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment, I consider just tearing into him. A few punches and a shove against the wall. Nothing more. I want answers, and I want them now, but I'm not sure which would provide more answers. Asking him calmly or kicking his ass. Ooh. So he knows we're loggers. I don't know. Should I question him? Or question him aggressively? Or question him calmly? Fuck. I mean... let's question him calmly first. If he doesn't answer, hopefully I can question him more aggressively. Could you please explain to me why you've been spying on my crew? My anger is prodding at me and I have to hold it back again. It's near the surface, demanding a release. It was part of my job. Mine and a few others. Your crew has been watched ever since you set up your equipment. Why? Because you're working with heavy equipment, some of which digs into the ground less than a mile from a secret government facility. I had no idea of that, and I say, how could I have known? Marcus gives me that same crooked, trembling smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place, he says. We have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that the higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on government land. It's shy by just about 300 yards. Every piece of your equipment is on private property. The timber tract you purchased from Mr. Glasstone 2 months ago. So even if we wanted to intervene and keep your crew away, we couldn't have without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such a low-level clearance knows this much about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognize us when we met in the hallway? I ask. He shakes his head and exhales, like it's obvious. The cameras have a bird's eye view. I can't see faces. We just track bodies and names. So he knows who we are. So where the hell is my crew? Look, Marcus says. All of you were on site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I had checked, though. I can tell he's starting to get rattled by this interrogation. He continues with his eyes fixed on the keyboard. They might have come near the facility, or maybe not. I don't know. I'll tell you if I did, okay? Well, are they inside the facility? I shout. You have cameras everywhere, right? Look for them. Marcus points his hand up defensively. I've been looking all over and I haven't seen your crew. But, he adds, the lower levels don't have any cameras. Classified. I'm not sure how they would have gone in there, but it's a possibility. I'm still shocked that we were being watched. Do they know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus said, the depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. Wait, what am I asking calmly? Well, what goes on here then? He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. I honestly don't know everything. Probably very little, but what I do know is that it is more than Black Ops. What does that mean? I ask. There are scientists here who have been disowned by their own governments because of the nature of their work. You get it now? I don't, not at all, but I don't want him to know about that. You said there are 36 employees, I say. Where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that still informs us of the unexpected power failure, and cringes. If this power failure was not corrected in time, there's no telling. But they're here in the facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know, Marcus says. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way he's talking in riddles. I don't... Ah, God, Dennis says. I look over to him and he looks as pale as a ghost. He stood up and his eyes are locked on the monitor closest to him. What? I ask. He simply points to the monitor and looks away. I look to the monitor and see the logging site. But more specifically, I see the overturned dozer and the legs sticking out from under it, wearing work boots, right where I left him. Tony. The fact of his death seems abstract almost, like it happened in some other world or a very long time ago. I know that you already told me that he was gone, Dennis whispers, but it's different. It's actually seeing him. My God. Suddenly something blazes by the open door outside. The shape is fast and in shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. Someone else is here, Marcus says, wheeling around. He sounds very happy to discover this, so I try to follow his lead. If something bad happened at this facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says. I realize this isn't the best moment to leave Dennis, after revisiting Tony's death all over again. Someone just ran by the door, I tell him. Hopefully it's someone who can help us. I don't want to leave him. You gonna be okay? It's fine. Go see who it is, he says, giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus and motion for us to head out to investigate. Let's be careful, Marcus says. Depending on who it is, they might not be as hesitant to shoot at strangers as I was. I nod to him as I head for the door. I'm still holding the rifle in my hands, and I don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if needed. With a final look back to Dennis, I run out into the second level hallway. God damn, this thing's getting super interesting. I'm intrigued. Sorry. Marcus follows. There is still fear in his eyes, but also the slightest glimmer of hope. That hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that just ran past the command center. Ahead of us, the facility presents yet another long hallway. Right away, I notice that this level of the facility seems darker, even though the lights are now all on. The hallway is adorned with numbered yellow doorways and large white panels along the walls. It's clean and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I see the fleeting motion of something dark cutting quickly to the left, down a corridor. There, I say quietly. There, I say quietly, pointing up ahead. Marcus gives a nod, and we continue chasing after the person we saw blazed by the command center just moments ago. It then occurs to me that this person could be like Marcus was at first, armed and scared. I don't know. If it's dark, I'm gonna say it's a ghost. But I don't know if I want to be chasing ghosts. Slowly. Let's go. When we reached the intersection in the hall where I'd seen the shadow moving, I eased around the corner, just in case. Sure, I have the rifle in my hands, but I don't want to use it unless I have to. I quickly dart around the corner and take the same shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there, about 10 feet away. She has a reddish blonde hair and a small mousy build. She looks terrified and is visibly shaking. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat with dark jeans and green Converse low tops. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about her sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running and scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender. She's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps ahead of me. It's Amy, right? He asks. She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes, she says. And you're Marcus. She nods absently and then looks to my rifle. I'm not gonna use it, girl. We're just as confused too. Now how do I know that? Wait, what? Now how do I know that? Yes, she asks. You're trespassing on government property in the midst of a huge catastrophic event. And you have a rifle. How am I supposed to believe you? I have a friend back in the command center who needs medical attention, I say. And we're looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry, but I don't know where they are, she says. Do you know what's happened? Marcus asks. From the power outage? I don't know what caused it, she says. But there was an experiment taking place when the outage occurred. Something happened and she trails off and giving me a look of distrust. I saw things on the security monitors, Marcus says. The experiment failed, didn't it? I don't know the specifics, Amy says. I barely escaped the third floor. I was going to go to the command center to see if the security footage showed anything, but then I saw you and the gun. Listening to their conversation, I'm feeling totally in the dark. What experiments? Amy looks to me, her eyes wide and terrified. Who are you anyway? She asks. I quickly give her my story. A logger stranded in the woods following a peculiar explosion at the logging site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. Oh, you're one of the loggers. Yes. She then looks to Marcus and says, I thought they were being watched. They were, Marcus says. This was a freak accident and there's no proof that they were responsible. I feel myself wanting to submit to all the questions that are piling up in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. Do we help Dennis? Or more details? I don't know if she'd be a medical doctor, though. She's a scientist. Details? Oh, I don't know. To be honest, seems like he's gonna die anyway, so kinda wanna find out more. Why were they being watched, I asked. Or why were we being watched? Sorry. You were in a privately owned land less than half a mile away from... Oh, shit, I already know this. From secret government facility, she answers. We had to make sure no one was on your crew wandering. How did you know we were cutting there? I ask. The people that work here know quite a lot, she says. If we needed to, we could know everything about your life within 10 minutes. This infuriates me to no end. It makes me feel violated in some very odd way. But I have to push that aside for now. Right now, getting Dennis medical help and finding our crew is my top priority. Once he is taken care of, I can maybe get some answers. Look, is there any medical help to be had here or not? I ask. Probably, Amy says, but you'd have to find Colonel Barksdale? He knows where all those sorts of supplies are. And where is he? Where is everyone else? I ask. At this, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees, as if someone had struck her from behind. Gone, she says. Some were killed and some were just... I don't know. They disappeared right in front of me. Disappeared? You can hear me making noise and drinking some water. Yes, she answers. They were here 1 second and gone the next. Just... She snaps her fingers together for effect. Gone. Something's here with us, Amy says. We were conducting an experiment and it all went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what? Marcus asks. I don't even know that much. An entity. But whatever it is, it's still here somewhere, Amy responds. How could you not know? Don't you have full security access? I ask. No, I have access to almost everything. But there are 2 levels of security beyond my clearance. So what do you suggest we do now? I ask. I'm not sure, she says, wiping her tears away. But if you want to find your crew, we need to find Barksdale. He's in charge. Where is he? I ask. Down on the 3rd level, in the hangar. Then let's go, I say. It's not that easy, Amy said, again looking to the rifle in my hands. Well, why not? Like I said, something came through when the power went out. There's several of them, all roaming the 3rd level. Fuck. Okay. I wanna know. All I know is that the others refer to them as entities. Amy shudders as she recalls the horrors she has seen. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look, she says. All I did was run for my life. Behind me, I just heard screams. I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right, Marcus says, stopping my train of thought. The things I saw on the monitors, it was crazy. This is insane, I bark. I'm going to the 3rd level to find this Barksdale guy. Thanks for your help. Wait, Marcus says. I'm sticking with you. If we want to get out of here, we have to find Barksdale, right? Yes, Amy says, but Barksdale's on the 3rd floor and it's too dangerous to go back there. I figure I'll let them make their own decisions. In the meantime, I start heading back to the command center to get Dennis. Before I get there, I hear their footfalls behind me getting closer. I give Amy a questioning look and she quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither one of you know your way around here, she says. Looking for Barksdale on your own would be suicide. Like it or not, she has a point. Fine, I say. Then let's get Dennis from the command center and head down together. Super thirsty. 3 chapters of this will do that to you. We enter the command center and I'm happy to see that Dennis has regained some of his color. Hey, he's still alive. We're gonna go get you some help, I tell him. And then we're going to find our crew and get the hell out of here. More help would be great, he says. With the way you ripped off my shirt earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, Amy says. Maybe one of us should stay here with him. I'll be okay, Dennis says. He stands to his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's out there, Amy says. I saw them. I saw what they can do. This facility is not safe. She doesn't know what they do. But if she's seen the monitors... I'm not sure, she says, but they're down on the 3rd floor, so we'll need to be careful. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but he nods his agreement, and the 4 of us exit the command center. Heading back into the hallway, I look back to the monitors. I take a final look at the screen that shows my wrecked logging site, and I feel a pang of sorrow. Then I look at the other monitor, showing live feeds of the facility's security cameras. Hey, they misspelled facilities. No, wait, never mind. I try to tell myself that I'm not looking for any sign of Amy's creatures, but I can't. That's exactly what I'm doing, and there's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall and towards the elevator. The tensions exist between us is like a physical presence. Okay. It's just getting serious. We step inside the elevator and the pristine doors close. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that I mean her no harm, but I'm also not going to put the rifle down. So you have a pretty high clearance in this place, right? I ask her. That's right. So what kind of experiment are we talking about? What went wrong? When she starts to answer my question, I can tell that it's something of a relief for her to get some of it off her chest. There's been a lot of work on a project taking place here over the last 3 years or so. The purpose is to find out if there are any real viable science beyond point-to-point instantation? Like teleporting? I ask. Oh my god, Marcus says. I had no idea. I knew there was some weird stuff here, but nothing this insane. It's really not at all that insane, Amy says. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were able to transport a live rat from its cage on level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Crap. Are you kidding me? Dennis says. I can tell that he wants to sound as if he's mocking the idea, but he fails. He is scared. Not at all, Amy says. The problem was that when the rat arrived, its retinas were detached and its intestines were on the outside of its bodies. Huh. If there's guts outside of that one person's body on the file, they're trying to do that to them. Obviously they didn't perfect it, because they have those files. Well, about 6 months ago, we successfully made that same experiment. The rat arrived in great health, and this time in just 3 seconds. Still, one of the things that we needed to tweak in order to make the process completely safe was how to figure out how to keep the subject on a straight course. When the matter is being transported, not only are its atoms being unknit and then put back together upon arrival. Unknit? I know what both of them mean, but let's just do this one. Yes, deconstructed and translated through space. It's the only way we know how to do it right now. But the issue, as I said, comes in keeping the deconstructed subject on a straight course to its destination. When the process occurs, we are deforming space-time. We are creating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why, exactly, Dennis asks. Because there are many more dimensions in space than the 3 we exist on, she explains. There's some evidence that there are as many as 10. So when you send the rat to New Mexico, it's traveling through another dimension to get there, I ask? Basically. And because of that, we were trying to get a better understanding of what those other dimensions are capable of. Things that are a great deal of the population would be scared of if they knew what we were doing. Hence, all the privacy. Then today, the power went out as we were right in the middle of an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She's speaking with the authority of someone who knows what she's talking about. Is that why those creatures are here? What have you seen in those dimensions? How does she know, though? Aren't they doing it on rats? I don't know if she would know. That's my assumption, she says. I wasn't present for the experiment. I'm not cleared for such things, but I do get the reports. What reports? Marcus asks. I'm given access to the results of the tests. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset. You guys have been peeking into other dimensions and taking notes on what you see? I can't believe I've wasted my life for this, he murmurs to himself. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy is quiet. Her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how I'll react to all of this. So they've seen into other dimensions? Holy shit. That's awesome. Insane, but awesome. So this is like interdimensional stuff, I ask. In a way, Amy answers. Marcus, on the other hand, is incredulous. I don't want anything to do with this, he says. All this time I've been working for... He laughs cruelly, and the sound of it makes my blood go cold for a second. Or for a moment. Just a single level beneath my feet, you assholes have been tearing apart space and time, Marcus continues. When the elevator doors open, I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick for my liking. Just kidding, not really. Outside of the elevator, we step out into what appears to be a massive industrial area. I love drawing, by the way. I would have just stayed in there. The carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I'd seen in the upper levels. Ooh, my lord. We should not be here. The area looks industrial, like everything was built for utility only. But more noticeable than that is all the blood. My god, I have never seen so much blood. Those creatures must have had a field day. Holy shit, Marcus says, looking like a man that just woke up from a very, very bad dream. There are more personnel in this area when the experiment went haywire, Amy says, as if the explanation makes it all better. The research you all do down here better be worth it, I say. We have to get moving, or we're going to lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Barksdale is in the hangar, I ask. Or Barksdale's in the hangar? I ask. If he's still alive, yes, that's where he'll be. Now let's hurry, I say. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, but I'm beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Between the blood on the floor, the silence of level 3 and Amy's talk of the lab rats, I'm getting freaked out. Oh, I am not taking lead. Amy's gonna get eaten, then so be it. The four of us start walking ahead, Amy taking the lead. We stop walking when we come to the remains of what looks like 3 different people. It's hard to tell how many bodies there were because they have been torn to shreds and are distorted. 2 of the bodies look as if they've been fused together. Ooh, alchemy, eh? Another man looks to have had his leg welded through the floor. Huh. I can see this man's face. He died in an abject state of horror, his mouth pried open in an eternal scream. I see half a face pushed down into the floor like putty, barely attached to his separated skull. A single dead eye stares at me. Ooh, I think I might puke. Behind me, Marcus does just that. As I listen to him heaving, my eyes cannot leave the carnage. There is blood everywhere, a crimson pool flooding the floor. There are hunks of skin and tissue splattered on the wall, and a strand of unspooled intestine that clings to the floor like a dead snake. God damn. Dennis steps up beside me. When he speaks, his voice is soft and flat. What the hell could have done that to someone? He asks. The things I saw, Amy answers, they could do it pretty easily, I think. She looks pale and I think that she may pass out at any moment. Tears spill from her eyes and she is visibly shaking. But she soldiers on, looking back to me and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes again go to my rifle and she doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go? She asks me. We need to move on, but for some reason I can't take my eyes off the scene. My mind is reeling, trying to process it all. I'm kind of curious. I'm really curious, I'm sorry. I've never seen so much blood before. What's even more sickening than the mayhem is this unnatural look of it. I'm familiar with blood spatter. I've hit a deer at 60 miles per hour on the interstate with a load of logs hugged behind me. But many of these bodies have somehow been gently pushed into the wall, to the floor, halfway inside a desk. Dead. No explosive power, just squeezed and pressed like clay. Thinking back, we probably should have left. Their faces contorted into screams trying to comprehend what was happening to them. Still, I managed to steady my nerves. I take a few deep breaths and finally able to continue onward. We leave the grisly site behind, moving into another equally destroyed area. From what I can tell, the next room was once in an open area for experimentation. The place hasn't just been destroyed, it's been physically altered in a way that makes no sense. The girders look to have been warped, their very materials distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine has been catapulted and looks to have somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond these phenomena, there is the standard violence I was expecting to see. There is a limp arm sticking out from underneath the wreckage and more blood. I see no signs of an explosion, which makes me wonder just how this happened. Seeing the aftermath was sickening enough, but it makes me wonder if Amy saw it while it was happening. I'm sure... I know she saw something going on. Damn, it's done to people, right? I'm interested in the girders. I only caught a glimpse of it, she says. It was like trying to focus your eye on something that was too close. They just started twisting, but not creaking or breaking, like these creatures are able to deform matter. She pauses here, and that's when we hear something echo through the facility. It comes from behind us and slightly to the right. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds almost like static from an AM radio, but there is a high-pitched noise beneath it that I can't even start to fathom. Holy crap, it's here, isn't it? What the hell is that? Or when the hell is that? I ask, instantly clapping my hands to my ear. One of them, Amy says, her voice in a whisper. One of the creatures. That's what they sound like? Dennis asks. I see that he's leaning against the wall again, wincing at this noise. I suddenly realize that I have a death grip on the rifle, ready to shoot at the next thing I see. Anything between us and them? Well, not really, if they can bend matter. Let's just run for it. About 100 meters, she answers. Not far. Everyone seems to take this as a cue to start moving again. We make our way around the office wreckage, now with a new purpose in our step. We barely make it to the other side of the room, approaching a dark hallway, when another high-pitched noise rings out. This one is louder, closer. We all share a terrified look, and I can tell that Amy is on the verge of losing it. I grip the rifle tightly as we head towards the hallway in front of us. I don't think we can kill him, to be honest. I've seen a lot of horror movies. How much further to the hangar? Close, she says. It's just at the end of this hallway. Dennis speaks up. His voice sounds like ice. Why don't we just haul ass then, huh? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the presence of terror around us, pressing in on us like some new violent gravity. Ooh, Lord. It's getting intense. I just want to run for it too. The small utility hallway is well lit. It looks as if it's designed to only be used by select maintenance workers. What goes on in this area, I ask. I'm looking at Mark as I ask the question, but he only shrugs in response. She might know, he replies, pointing to Amy. I've never been down here before. It's just a utility hallway, Amy says, but at the end there's a maintenance room. There should be a gun or two in there. It's also the most direct path to the hangar entrance. As we walk quickly and quietly down the hall, I take a glimpse ahead and feel the hair on the back of my neck stand on end. The lights become more sparsely spaced, and it's impossible to see just how far the hallway extends into the darkness. This hallway has the occasional trace of bloodshed, but nothing like the main area we've come from. We continue farther down, and just as I begin to see what looks like a large metal door further ahead, I hear yet another shrill sound. This one sounds farther away, but no less demonic. How many of these things did you see? How many of these things did you see? Dennis asked Amy. 3, but that's just what I saw. There could be more. What do they look like? Dennis asks. Yeah, what are we dealing with? Come on, Amy. Spill it. I don't even know how to explain it, she says. Monsters, that's the only word I can think of. My mind seemed to struggle just trying to understand what I was seeing. They're big and they seem to jerk around every few feet or so. They look like they're made of light. That's about all I know for sure. Holy crap, so Dennis must have seen it. Huh. You know, my ex-husband always said that I let my work kill me, she continues, seemingly unable to stop herself. I mean, I doubt he imagined this exact scenario, but still. As we make our way into the hangar doors, another high-pitched noise rings out. Angrier now. Amy stops walking, causing all of us to stop and turn to her. We have to do something to slow these things down, she says. No, Marcus snaps. There's no time. We need to distance ourselves and we get into the hangar fast. Amy ignores him, deep in thought. There's an old hydraulic door set in the wall right here, she says. It hasn't been used for years, though. She looks to me, pleading her case. Together, we might be able to pull it close behind us to keep those things back. Those old hydraulic doors weigh a ton, Marcus says. There's no way it'll work. Roger, Amy says. What do you think? They'll have a harder time getting to us if these doors are locked. Look, Marcus shouts, turning to me. We need to get out of the hangar. We need to get to the hangar now. Marcus doesn't know shit, though. Let's stop and close the doors first. Damn it, Marcus says. We don't have time for this. Amy ignores him and starts feeling along the hallway, a wall for a group. Dennis and I start looking as well. A minute passes, and I see a small metal frame that runs from the floor to the ceiling. Is that it? I ask. Yes, Amy says. I look to the floor and see an old metal track that runs along the frame. Let's move it, I say. Amy, Dennis, and I start pulling as hard as we can, and it barely budges an inch. Behind us, that static noise rings out again. Holy crap. My heart seems to stutter, and Marcus lets out a little whine. We're running out of time. We need to go, Marcus screams. Those things are getting closer every second. Shoot. I mean, if this thing is going to be cliche, come on, help us out, man. More manpower. It won't make a difference, he says. Shut up and help us, and then we'll find out, I shout. Reluctantly, Marcus walks over and grasps the door. We all groan and we strain to pull. It starts inching slowly and then begins moving steadily. Once we get it started, it slides easily. I knew it. As we near the wall, closing off the hallway behind us, I think I can see the merest glimpse of an odd, illuminated shape in the darkness. It's cut off by the slight thump of the hydraulic door being pushed against the frame in the opposite wall. Amy turns to lock it into place. Great. Now let's haul ass, says Marcus. We all turn and get moving again, still feeling unsure about our prospects. The fact that yet another shrill noise sounds about elsewhere in the facility is not calming. And then there are two of them. It's almost like they're calling out for one another. The doors to the hangar sit up ahead like the entrance to some enormous labyrinth. Crap. We better not get split up. It was just the hangar that's great, but... When we reach the hangar doors, I get a true sense of how impenetrable they are. The computer terminal is mounted on the wall nearby and has a blinking red light. Any idea what this means, I ask? It's an automatic lock, a failsafe from the lockdown, she says. I've never been down here before, Marcus says. If I had known this door was here, I would have opened it earlier. How? Amy asks. The fear in her voice is more present than ever. From the command center, he says. You need to override from there first, then use this terminal to open the hangar doors. The command center on the second floor? I ask. Yeah. Amy shakes her head and lets out a nervous laugh. Are you kidding me? She asks. We just pulled that hydraulic door and blocked off the hallway, remember? If we want to get into that hangar, we have to get back to the command center, Marcus says. Isn't there another way? Turning to Marcus, Amy replies. Well, there's another elevator, but we need to go through the biochem storage. I need to stay with Dennis so he can rest, I say. You two go on. You know your way around this place, and you know the controls, Marcus. Fine, Marcus says, but we need to be armed. Did I just say I didn't want to be split up? I don't trust Amy with it. Marcus is trained for it, so I'm gonna give Marcus the gun. I hand Marcus the rifle and he turns to go. Amy gives me a concerned look, but follows along behind him. Once Amy and Marcus make it a good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were two, he says. Dennis looked much better, but he still needs to use the hallway he needs to use the wall to stay standing. Didn't Amy say that there was guns and emergency kits in the maintenance room near the hangar doors? I ask. Yeah, I think so, Dennis says, looking exhausted. I look ahead and see a door to the right that reads, Maintenance. Might as well give it a try. I go to the door, try to open it, and find that it's locked. Kick it down. Roadhouse. I give it a frustrated kick, but it doesn't budge. I'm about to try again, but that's when I hear the dry, choking noise from just down the hallway. It's barely audible, but it's not my imagination. My first thought is that it's one of those things, one of the monsters. But after calming my nerves and reassessing, it sounds more like a person. I think about how angry and on edge Amy was when she turned to leave, as well as how scared Marcus had looked. Oh shit, did they see them or something? Alarm bells sound in my head, and before I know it, I'm heading back down the hall, away from the hangar doors. Stay here, I'll be right back, I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if you can figure out how to get into that maintenance room. Where are you going? He asks. I don't bother answering him as I bound through the door where Amy and Marcus went. Holy shit, we're gonna leave him to die? What the hell's going on? I know I've been saying this the entire time, but what the hell? What's going on? Bloody miracle. As I enter the biochem room and start walking between the massive silos, I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside of them. I am fully expecting one of Amy's creatures to come flying out from the intersection of halls up ahead. I think I hear something. A skittering noise, like something moving quickly. I run up ahead so fast that I almost trip over two people in a life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I'm seeing, but it makes no sense. None at all. Marcus is on the floor with Amy pinned beneath him. What? Huh. He has his rifle at her throat, pushing her down to the floor and choking her with it. What? Oh shit. Should have given her a gun. Her face is turning purple and her eyes look like they might pop out of her head. Marcus sees me coming out of the hallway but acts as if what he's doing is perfectly normal. Oh yeah. Well, just mommy and daddy dancing, in the bed. Just stop him. What the hell is he doing? I start rushing towards him before I really know what I'm doing. I bring my fist down in a hard arc across the bridge of his nose and I'm rewarded with a sick cracking noise. He cries out as he falls to the ground, looking at me if he doesn't understand why I punched him. On the floor, Amy clutches at her neck and gasps for breath. I start to fear that a moment ago gosh, I start to fear that I was a moment too late just as I see this, but rifle has been thrown across the floor. Marcus seems to notice this at the exact same moment that I do. Gun is power. We both go for the rifle at once. He takes a single stumbling step towards it, wobbling a bit from my punch. I dive for it, and when I hit the floor, it feels like I'm a baseball player trying to steal third. Our hands both fall on it, but when I yank it away, he manages to kick me, knocking the rifle to the floor again. The kick catches me squarely in my ribs, knocking the breath out of me. What the hell are you doing? He yells at me. By killing her, I'm saving us. All of this was her fault. I sense that he truly believes this, but if that's the case, then why not just shoot her rather than strangling her with the rifle? The answer is simple. We would have heard the gunshot, and I, or those things, would have come running. He wanted to kill her quietly. And then what? What would we have done? Would we have done the same to Dennis and me? It seems fitting, really. When we first came upon Marcus, he held a gun on us. I'd been so relieved to see another human being that I had underestimated just how unhinged he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle, still laying on the floor. We start wrestling for possession, but I'm not confident I'll come away with it. As we struggle, he starts inching the muzzle of the gun towards my face. Crap, a position I do not want to be in. I start pushing back hard. But if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure where I'd prefer the bullet to go, especially in this room full of chemical taints. Fuck it. He's going down. I grunt as I push the muzzle to point towards his face. Realizing he is literally looking down the barrel of the gun, Marcus ducks his head out of the way. This makes him lose leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from his grip. Hell yeah. I get to my feet as quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back around on him. For a moment, I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter and he looks at me as I've betrayed him. Her people, he says. It was them that did this. She deserves to die. She did this. I look to Amy and wish I could help her. I'm relieved to see she is managing to draw in a few breaths. Her legs move as she tries to push herself into a sitting position. You wouldn't know, Marcus says. You don't work here under their secrecy. You don't know what it's like to. He surprises me by lunging towards me, leaping from the floor like a human projectile. I don't have time to aim carefully. I have to react. Fuck it. He's going down. I react before thinking. My muscles take over and my finger squeezes the trigger. The blast is deafening. As I watch Marcus fall to the floor, a terrifying thought races through my mind. Oh shit, that's right. If some of those things are here and they didn't know where we were before, they sure as hell know now. Marcus falls to the floor and I see right away that I shot him in the shoulder. His right arm dangles loosely, already covered in blood. He roars in pain on the floor. Only after a few moments I realize that they are not purely screams of pain. The bastard is calling for them, calling for those creatures to come for us. This place is evil, along with everyone involved, he wails from the floor. If you're taking her side, then you deserve to die too. If you want to stop me, you better do it now, you coward. The rage in his eyes at Amy as well as towards me for stopping him makes me think that he'll deliver on his threat. I race to the rifle again. Every urge in my body wants to make sure he doesn't come back to bite us, but I'm not a violent man. I could easily not kill him and just leave him behind. Well, I would definitely kill this guy. Not Roger. So. Get out of here. I aim for his head and start to squeeze the trigger, but I can't complete the motion while I'm looking at him. I close my eyes tight and squeeze the trigger. The muzzle bursts and I hear Marcus crumble onto the floor. It's not for another 10 seconds or so that I realize I've been standing still, frozen, with my eyes closed and my teeth clenched. I try to avoid looking at Marcus's body and instead lean towards Amy. You okay? I ask. She nods slowly. I have to go, she says, her voice raspy. We'll be here any minute. Too much noise. I have to hold her arm so she can get to her feet. We start forward and then I think of Dennis. We should go back to the hangar doors, I say. I can't just leave Dennis there. There's no time, Amy says. Oh, fuck, Dennis is going to be left behind. You need to come with me up to the command center. Now, we'll be back for him soon. I stare at Marcus's dead body for a moment, trying to comprehend the fact that my own hands caused him to die. Oh, it is a turning point in my life that I will never recover from. Well, you deserved it, but there's no time to wait now. As I look at him, another high-pitched static rings out from elsewhere. It's louder, more ferocious. Amy takes off, presumably towards the other elevator she had mentioned moments ago. As we move out, I look back once more at Marcus's body, motionless. Forget him, fuck him. We start running, and after the first few strides, another noise rings out. It sounds mechanical, but at the same time, it also reminds me of recordings I've heard of whale songs. The sound of metallic creaking and crashing echoes through the door where I came into. They reach the hydraulic door we bolt, Amy says, confirming what I'm thinking. The sound grows louder as it's clear that they're struggling with it, which is good. We have a bit more time. I speed up my step to follow Amy as she leads the way to the other elevator. She's panting furiously, but pushes on. I can hear something rattling in her breath, like the result of Marcus's attack. This makes me imagine how his cold, uncaring eyes must have looked, staring at her as she tried to deliver the death. Sorry, I broke. How she is still forging on is beyond me. I'm sorry about Marcus, I say. It's not your fault, she interrupts. When you handed him the gun, you didn't know he would use it on me. I just hope we can find a way to survive this mess. We'll be fine. That's the only thing I can say. I'm not so sure, she says, her eyes fixed straight ahead. I'm not sure I can blame her. I just wanted to say something encouraging, I guess. We finally come to the elevator at the end of the row of silos. The elevator door slide opens slowly. At that moment, we hear something behind us, a strangled sort of whistling sound. Oh, we better not be alive. We step inside and turn around to face the biocam room, thankful we've been given a few moments to spare. The elevator doors remain open for 3 seconds before they start to slide closed again. In those 3 seconds, I see a large shape floating towards us. A fluorescent like white glow outlines an impossible shape. Behind it, I see another shape that's also entered the biochem room, and another. Fuck, Dennis is dead, right? Shit. The third one breaks away from the other two, taking a quick right. It moves with eerie speed. They're heading in the direction of Marcus's body. Honestly, the thought of them feasting on his corpse doesn't bother me in the slightest. Amy is pressing the button to close the elevator doors over and over, but they stay open for what seems like an eternity. I curse whoever designed those damn doors. Hopefully we can hide. Amy and I slide ourselves up against the sides of the elevator, trying to avoid being seen. But I can't help peeking around. Why would you do that? Peeking around the corner. I hold the rifle steady, ready to fire, and that's when I see them in a clear light of the first time. I can see their features, their shape, and their colors, but my mind can't quite process it all. Nothing about them makes any sense. My eyes try to see a squid, but that's not what these lights are, or what these things are. They're gray and white and seem to be nothing more than squirming light. Their appendages are neither legs nor tentacles, but somewhere in between. They don't walk on these appendages, but use them to glide. They move like ghosts and seem to jerk every few feet or so. But I'm pretty sure that this jerking effect is not a result of their moving or my mind's inability to understand how they are moving exactly. It's also more than their appearance that makes a mockery of reality. The light around them seems to bend inward, as if the space within the room has to reshape itself for their existence. That peculiar effect on the air makes their movement seem like something moving underwater, only faster. They screech in unison as they rush towards the elevator. They'll be inside here in another few seconds. I check the rifle to see that my ammo is diminishing. I have to start saving my shots. I'm going to have to be choosy. The doors are going to close anyway, so I'm going to save my shots. They keep advancing. Even though I know the doors may not close in time, I manage to keep my cool and avoid firing off any more rounds. My finger itches to pull the trigger, but I resist. I'm not even sure if a gun would affect them. Finally, the elevator door closes. The creatures wash against the other side of the door, making an electrical noise and crying out in anger. The tips of their spider-like appendages poke through the wall and elevator door, but for some reason they can't get all the way through. Amy screams at this and curls into a ball in the far corner of the elevator, crying. I say nothing to her. I just cling to the rifle, hoping these creatures don't find Dennis as he waits by the hangar doors where I left him. For his sake and ours, we need to get them open now. Holy crap. I hope he's still alive. End of chapter 3. Let's see how bad I did. Bad? Or well? I don't know. I think Marcus deserved to die. That's for sure. Okay, so that was good to him. Even 31%. 42% killed Marcus. What? Conserved your bullets for later instead of shooting the creatures. Oh, okay. Interesting, interesting. This is getting ridiculous. Alright. Thank you for coming along this super duper craziness of chapter 3. I cannot wait for chapter 4. And I hope to see you guys in a bit. See you next video. Adios.